Chapter 2, Smooth Criminals. At the very top of town, next to the Hampton schoolyard, were the school sports fields that bordered the cornfields, which seemed to go on forever. To get there, I had to ride my bike a few blocks straight uphill. Once you reached the school, you reached the top of town and the earth seemed to level off. One thing I remember about the town being built on a giant hill was, it was kind of a pain in the ass. If you biked or walked somewhere uptown, you walked or biked uphill and it was pretty steep incline. If you went down the hill to someone's house or another destination, it was easy enough, but what goes down must come back up. The town was so steep that even at a young age, with seemingly limitless energy, I would have to sometimes take a break from pedaling my bike on the way back up from somewhere far down at the bottom of the hill, like the Hampton Park, which was located at the very lowest point. I don't know if it was better to live at the top or the middle. At least at the top, there was a schoolyard, the basketball court, and if I remember, there was a water fountain near the ball field. Not far up the road from the ball field lived a kid named Darren, who I had met somewhere right in that area. I thought he was lucky living at the top of town on level ground, not but half a mile from the school. And around this time, I didn't know too many kids, and most of the ones I would see around the schoolyard were either older than me, and I was a little leery of, or I might have just been becoming familiar with some faces about my age. Just familiar enough to be in the area with them comfortably, or maybe join a game of some kind, but only if I was invited to. I had come across Darren a few times, and we started riding our bikes around here and there occasionally, along with some other kids. One day, Darren and I were on our bikes and wound up down at the train tracks, behind the apartment throwing rocks at nothing. A favorite pastime for bored kids. In the stone parking area where commuters parked to catch the train, I saw something on the ground. I stopped to look at it and discovered it was a wallet. With money in it. About $40. We got really excited. We couldn't believe our luck. Unfortunately, returning it to its rightful owner didn't even cross our minds. Darren immediately figured on 80 games of Pac-Man up at the pizza place. I couldn't argue with that math, so we split the money and rode our bikes straight up the hill to the pizza place and the Pac-Man machine, ASAP. Could I have $10 in quarters, please? I remembered having a few slices, but I didn't want to cut into the Pac-Man budget too much. We played Pac-Man for hours, had some pizza, plenty of sodas to drink. What could be better? We were some real ballers, all right. Soon it was nightfall. I had a little money left, maybe $5. I decided to head home. As far as I was concerned, our lucky find was already in the past, and I never gave it a second thought until I got home. It was dark. As I rode my bike closer to my street, I saw the police lights outside my apartment building. You see, in our infinite wisdom, we figured the best thing we could do with the wallet's remains, driver's license, credit cards, and so on, was to dump it in the street sewer. A dry street sewer, no less. So it just laid there for anyone to look down and see. Directly in front of where I lived, in broad daylight. To top it off, one of the landlord's kids on the first floor watched us do it right outside the window no more than 10 feet from us. She told her parents about it, they saw the wallet laying in the sewer, and they called the police. When I arrived on the scene, like I was completely innocent, the police were shining a flashlight down the hole, working a set of grippers on a long snake pole, trying to get a hold of the wallet and pull it up, with about another 5 or so people watching in the dark. I played it cool and walked up to the sewer with everyone else, as if I was just innocently onlooking, wondering what was going on. Someone said, "There he is." Uh-oh, I nearly pissed my pants. "Did you throw this wallet in the sewer?" the cop asked me. No. "Are you sure about that? I have witnesses that saw you do it." "We know it was you. Did you throw that wallet in the sewer?" No. "I know you live upstairs. I suggest you go home and stay there. I'll be up to speak with you shortly. Are your parents home? I'll need to see them too." No. Or I don't think so." Of course my mother was home, but I just went upstairs to my room and hoped it would all go away. Not so lucky. "Hello, Hampton Police." "Ah, damn." I stayed in my room and let my mother answer the door. She let him in and they went on into the front room, sat down where he explained what happened in the company of adult, being I was only 13. When the officer questioned me upstairs in the apartment, he went over again that there were witnesses and they knew who I was, and there was no mistaking it. I told him I didn't know anything about a wallet, But they said it was you, and we have Darren also. Wasn't me. Oh, yeah? Where have you been this evening? Just riding my bike. Were you with Darren? Darren? I don't know Darren. Ah, how cool I was. Just like the movie Over the Edge. A kid who tells on another kid is a dead kid. Perfect. Way to go, Rebel. Where did you go riding your bike? The pizza place. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have said that. He said it would be in touch upon further investigation. Maybe I got away with it. Nope. Being we didn't have a phone, he had to come back the next day. Hello, Hampton Police. I didn't answer, but my mother did. I couldn't thank her enough. The officer came in, handed my mother his card, and asked if we could come to the station the following day. So the next day, my mother and I walked a half a block up to the police station. She knocked on the door, the officer answered, and led us to the small room inside where he had a tape recorder laying flat on a table and asked us to sit down. He asked me to state my name and so on. So on this date, do you admit to stealing this wallet and discarding it in the sewer? I didn't steal any wallet. He took the tape recorder, slam on the table. So you won't cooperate? Huh. Maybe all I have to do is not say anything. Wrong. Listen, I went to the pizza place yesterday. They told me you and Darren were in there, each had $20 and got a bunch of quarters, played video games, and were there all afternoon. We spoke to Darren. He confessed and admitted you were together. Threw the wallet in the sewer and took the money, he said. An old trick, by the way, but I would fall for that one for years to come. I guess he had me. He turned the tape recorder on again and went through the same questions. I confessed. There I was, officially busted and stuffed. For what? I'm not exactly sure. Can you be in trouble for finding a wallet? Either way, it was a rotten thing to do, throwing it in the sewer. For one thing, we were excited so quickly, we never thought that all we had to do was take the cash if we really wanted it and turn in the wallet. Hell, we could have just rode our bikes to the address on the license and dumped the wallet in the mailbox, kept the cash, and no one would have given us a second thought. Not to mention, we were too young to know it, but it's actually customary that if someone finds your wallet and returns it, the owner usually tips back the cash in the wallet for returning it, providing it's not $1,000 or something. In any case, no charges were pressed against me, but the police stopped by our apartment one more time to let me know that the owner of the wallet agreed not to press charges on the condition that I came to his house and split firewood for an entire weekend. I agreed and showed up at the guy's house on Saturday morning. I knocked on the door, it opened, and he just looked at me. Hello, I'm here to split your wood. He didn't say much. He just pointed to the axe in the wood on the side of the house and said, there it is. You can stack it with the other wood on the pile. Okay, no problem, I said, shamefully. I didn't see him again. I left a little early when I was too hungry and thirsty to split wood anymore. Of course, I didn't come prepared or even bring water. I had never split wood before and found out not until the next day that it was a lot easier if you handled the axe correctly and not just trying to brute strength plow through the wood. A strength that I definitely did not have at that age. I left Sunday afternoon at whatever time it was, and that was that. I never apologized, although I should have, and walked home. Now, if that was my wallet, I would have hacked the kid's head off and put it up on the highest pole in town. No doubt I'd have been complaining about how screwed up kids are nowadays and our country is going to hell in a handbasket. Just like someone said about me more than once, I'm sure. In any case, that ordeal was over, but not quite between Darren and I. As I remember it, Darren and I bumped into each other some days later on our bikes, just up the street from the apartment, where there was some kind of little monument and a small patch of grass, across the street from the firehouse. I figured I had gotten into a lot more trouble over the whole thing than he did, and I was mad at him, especially after what that cop had told me. So the word started and the bikes hit the ground. It was on. I can't forget this one, because it was, in fact, my very first real fight. We both wasted no time in going for the other and pounded the living Jesus out of each other's heads. We both had red goosebumps on our foreheads, and we went at it for quite a while. We traded a lot of punches, and we might have wrestled a little. At some point, it stopped. We got on our bikes, some more words were said, and the bikes hit the ground again. Round 2. The funny thing is, I remember it as almost like we respectfully only pounded each other's heads, and neither punched the other's nose or in the mouth or the jaw. Kind of like two bucks sparring, but don't want to kill each other. I thought it was awesome that Darren had welts on his forehead. When I got home, a half a block down, I looked in the mirror, and I had goosebumps on my forehead too. Big ones. It was like a discovery to me. I was touching my goosebumps and trying to push them back in, but it didn't work. I guess that's what happens when you get punched. You get goosebumps. All in all, it was a good one. I remember it fondly. Darren and I were about 13. We never really became good friends, but like your first time, I guess you always remember your first fight. How sentimental.